right, we're going to start with a brief opening statement from Coach, and then we'll take questions. Raise your hand for questions. We'll come around. Coach?
Obviously disappointed. Hat goes off to Coach Key. That was a good football game against a good football team. They have some extremely explosive players, and congratulations. They're going to get an opportunity to go bowling. We hope that we have that same opportunity. We have one more game left at our place. We're going back to the Dome. We got to play a really good Wake Forest team that we've had trouble with over the years. We expect our people to be there, and we expect them to be loud and crazy and to send our seniors off the right way. And there's no place like Dome, and we can't wait to get back there. Questions?
Start with Emily in front.
Dino, last play of offensive play of the game for you guys. You give it to Luke, and he throws an interception. Just curious what led to the decision to put him in there and have him attempt that pass.
He knows our 2-minute offense the best out of the quarterbacks that are healthy to run it.
So it was just like a 2-minute drill, and
Yeah.
he's the most veteran. Braden played kind of in the role that we saw Garrett in last week, just a little, I guess, less. What led to him playing there versus letting Garrett play like he did last week?
Some of those guys are not as healthy. We're still waiting for those guys to get healthy so they can do the things that they're used to doing.
So Garrett, would you say Garrett was less healthy this week than he had been playing last week
Yes.
against Pitt?
Jesse?
Coach, why did it take till the fourth quarter to try a pass of more than 10 yards?
Because some of the other stuff was really good, and sometimes we didn't have the ball. Our big thing is we're going to run the football. We're going to keep the ball in the hands of our people that we think are good. We did throw a lot of passes. We're not trying to throw them less than 10 yards. We just got tackled before we could get to 10 yards. So when we throw that, we expect them to go all the way just like the runs.
Coach, back to Braden. You decided to use him as the wide receiver in that Garrett Schrader role. Was there ever discussion about keeping that to a wide receiver, or why did you want it to be a quarterback out there playing in that hybrid role?
Anytime you have a quarterback on the field, it affects the calls of the defense.
Emily?
4th and 3rd, you send Brady on to take a 50-yarder. I know you have said that you have seen him hit longer than that. We have yet to see him hit longer than that. Just what was the decision making there? Was it just you felt confident he could get it, or why not go for
Once again, it's 4th and 3. It was early in the first half, if I'm not mistaken. We have an opportunity to close that distance. I believe the kick was wide right.
Yes.
The kick was not short. So it was just a matter of him getting it to the uprights, which we've seen him do before.
Jesse?
A lot of work for Dan and LeQuinn today. How are they feeling?
They're banged up. They feel like they've been used.
Yeah. Andrew?
Coach, obviously the last drive for Georgia Tech offensively before the interception took a lot of time off the clock. What was the difference that you feel in that drive compared to a handful before where your defense got stops in the second half?
There was some mistakes made in the drive. Some calls were made, and we didn't what we call close a call. A call is open, then you got to close it. You got to set a defense. You got to call it, and then you close that call. And some of those calls were left open, which is the reason why some of those quarterback runs were going up the middle.
Emily?
a lot of success in the third quarter compared to what you guys have been able to do on both sides of the ball in the first and second. Is that something that you can credit directly to your coaching staff, maybe changes at halftime, or was Georgia Tech just getting a little worn down with what you guys were doing?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think, Emily, your question's good. I think there was some adjustments, but also with the way we're playing ball, it eventually starts to wear people down. Main thing is making sure they didn't get away from us. They got away from us a little bit, but we closed that distance to made it a game, closed that gap to make it a game, and it was just disappointing that we couldn't get that final touchdown in there.
Did Georgia Tech, having kind of one of the worst rushing defenses in the conference right now, play into your decision to run this style of offense again, or was it solely based on who you had available?
Availability.
Coach, before that final interception, 9 penalties for 70 yards. Is there one part of the game that you think was contributing to that most?
There was a lot of stuff going on out there, or what you guys call it, the business. There was a lot of people giving each other the business out there, and sometimes the referees see it and sometimes they don't. There were some things that I was surprised the referees saw because they normally don't see that stuff, so my hats go off to them for some of that stuff. And then there were some other things that happened that may not have been happening exactly how they saw it, but they called it that way, and that's part of the game.
Emily.
What did you see on that early hit on LeQuint that I think a lot of people thought was a late hit? He was in the end zone, and then the call on Umari that was called.
That was away from me. That was on their sideline. I did not get a great view of that. I have to go back and watch the tape because I need to go back and watch the tape on that before I talk about it because I really did not have a good sight line on it on the football field.
Take a couple more for Coach. Right there.
In terms of a positive note, you guys came back from being down 24-3 to make this a competitive game. What do you think about your team enabled them to stay in even despite a big deficit?
I think there's a lot of fight in this football team, and then when you think about how we've gone to, I'm not going to say that word. That's the words I don't say because I'm a military kid. The things that we've had to do in the last 2 games to be able to move the ball and score points, and for them to be able to understand that that's a disadvantage, but we're going to turn it into an advantage, and we're going to turn a negative and turn it into a positive. I think they've been in obviously both games. We won one, we lost one, but the way they're fighting and the way they're competing and staying together, I think I'm really proud of them.
Last question for Coach Jesse.
Coach, you just mentioned you're a military kid. Did you catch any of the military honors and celebration throughout the game and before?
In this game?
Yeah.
If there was one I missed, I'm so locked in. You could say my name and I wouldn't hear it in a football game. I'm sorry about that. So no, I apologize. But I'm very thankful for all they do. There's no doubt about it. I've lived that life, and it's not an easy life, especially with all the stuff that's going around the world right now.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.